Robbie, what's up? What's up, everybody? We're live. It is another beautiful Monday night here. It's probably a beautiful Monday night there too, wherever you're watching. This is a live stream of Robbie Ripoll's Let's Talk About Feelings live on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. So if you guys are new here, there's tons of other weekly shows, drawing groups, art jams, and panels happening basically every single day that you guys can enjoy. If you're watching from YouTube, you can definitely sign up to get those notifications ahead of time. And yeah, that's pretty great. Otherwise, other places to watch will be our new Roku channel. Robbie, if any of you guys haven't heard about that, on your Roku device, download the Reinventing the Tattoo app for something to put on in the front or something for your clients or yourself to watch. So yeah, beyond all of this stuff from that Reinventing the Tattoo website, you can see the various learning platforms that Guy Aitchison has. There are various ones, my favorite being our Evolution, which is a class that meets every single Monday and goes through the canon from start to finish. Other than that, we guys, if you saw any footage over the weekend from Tony Urbanic's Rubber City and Tattoo Invitational, that was really, really awesome. Something that we think we'll be doing next year as well. Turnout was great. The Tattoo Olympics was great as well. I'm going to run through some of those shows beyond right now that you guys can tune in every single week. On Sundays, we have our Reinventing Drawing Group with Jason Looser. Monday mornings start early with James Wisdom drawing for tattooers, followed by the Tattoo Weekly at 11 with myself, Jake Meeks, and Dave Richley of Tattoo Now. Right here at 5 every Monday is Let's Talk About Feeling, followed by the Evolution class at 9 on Monday evenings. Tuesday mornings at 10 is Ricardo's Tuesday Feels, followed by the Tattoo Now show on Wednesdays and Tattoo Collecting 101 on Thursdays. All right. We'll roll through. They say thank you to some of our sponsors as well. That's always a good thing that we can get this content to you guys for free every single week. We've got World Tattoo Events. They're the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events in the world. Raw Pigment, an e-company that's tapping into the source. And we also have some of our affiliates, DLives Pro, Fireside Tattoo, The Apprenticeship Diaries, and eco-friendly tattoo supplies.com. Now, after all that good stuff, Robbie, how are you?
As we discussed earlier, I am human today. It's weird because like because of all this work I'm constantly doing, like trying to be a better person and trying to find, my inner gifts and unlock my magic and, all this stuff. It's weird because in the process of all that, those words sound good, but like finding out who you are and, working through the processes of it, it's fucking painful. So speaking of feelings, I've been in a lot of my feelings and it's like, it seems to happen every week, kind of the same way recently, because I've been launching my group coaching program online. And like, it seems the beginning of the week is when all the worries come, because I tend to take the beginning of the week to plan a little bit, the middle of the week to work on that, and then the end of the week to do tattoo stuff. So then by the time the new week comes, like, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't worked on this project in so long. 3 days, 2 days, and so I stress myself out. And then, sometimes because I'm human, I'll have a couple too many drinks on a Sunday and then feel fucking a little sluggish on my Monday, therefore adding to that humanness, that fear, the imposter syndrome, all the things, that are attached to all the things that I'm doing. So right now I'm in one of those spots of just trying to believe in myself again, as I tend to forget to do, and not fall back into old belief patterns. Because I mean, as you guys know, when you're trying to level up your life, it's really fucking easy to fall into the old patterns of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I don't know this, so I can't do this. So yeah, that's how I'm doing today. And I'm sure you guys can relate. I'm sure you can relate with having just been at the convention. Were you guys both at the convention?
Yep.
Yeah. So just like you said earlier, the highs of the convention, and then like kind of that low, yet, you're still stoked, but like, you're like, oh, I'm beat. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you're well aware.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And
yeah,
so
I'm getting a bit of that right now as well.
Now, is this the first convention you've done?
This is like the first one that I've like seriously done. I went to Hell City and that was like the first big one, but I was just doing reinventing. So not
Okay.
really in a booth much, but this weekend I was bouncing around between the booth and getting footage.
So you kind of know a lot more of what it's like now.
Yeah, a little bit.
And it's weird because it can be like really rewarding and also really challenging.
Yeah.
But I've kind of noticed that like in life, that's what it is, right? Like if it's really rewarding, there's going to be an equal amount of challenge. And that's one of the things, you know, I think a lot of the time as humans, we don't really go into the challenges expecting, you know, like we think reward and we don't expect, you know, exact and equal challenge. So it's wild. Like that's part of the reason why I don't really like doing conventions anymore. I don't know if you can hear, there's a baby out there crying. And so, you know, conventions, I love them. They're great, but I've gotten burnt out on them. And like, you know, my new focus is home and this stuff. So it's really interesting. Like talking to people that have just been at conventions and going through this stuff. And I'm like, wow, it's like I'm in a totally different world over here now. And it's cool, but there's still challenges that show up, you
Yeah.
know, like, so it's interesting. What's it like kind of hitting the convention for you or for both of y'all?
For me, it was really good. Like, I mean, I didn't expect. Am I doubling?
It's okay. I don't think you're doubling. I can just hear you.
I thought it was really good though. The overall experience was great. I didn't expect a lot of challenges that came with it. Like definitely, sorry, myself twice something. But it was challenging. So just constantly being on your feet all day was, I expected it to be.
The energy exchange too. There's the energy exchange with between the humans and yourself. It's like you go to do this work, but you don't realize how much you're giving and taking throughout that whole time, just being in that high energy situation and whatnot. It's really interesting, like walking around the tattoo convention floors and just observing how everyone's feeling, because there's a lot of feelings on the floors. Lauren, you said you've done the tattoo convention stuff a lot, huh?
Yep.
So how was this one for you? Like, was it any different? Any more, any less?
I think that Tony Urbanik is on. He's a friend of mine, and I think that he did a really clean, respectable job with this. He thought about it. He wasn't just going to throw an event. He thought about it. He thought about exactly who he was going to have help him. He had a really good crew. I was saying this morning on the Tattoo Weekly is a really clean show, and specifically, I mean, like, they were coming to the booths and cleaning out the trash cans throughout the day.
Nice.
And that was pretty cool. Other than that, the booth layout was nice and organized. The event schedule was great. I mean, there's nothing that I could say that I would complain about at all. I thought they did an excellent job. I think when you go to conventions, it's nice if you're going to support someone that you know, or something, either local or whatever. It's a different vibe, and it's something that happens every single year in France. So you start to look how they craft the show.
Yeah. And what was your role in it? Like, did you come with reinventing, or were you a part of like putting the show on?
I don't think Robbie was, and I was next to the 1807 collecting capacities.
I'm having a really hard time hearing you all of a sudden. Yeah.
All right, how about that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So not sure exactly what you had asked, but raw pigments, it was right next to the 1807 art collective booth, as well as the Wicked Fast booth and some. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So you were booth running and handling all that fun stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm having like these emotional takebacks to running convention stuff, because when we ended doing, when we stopped, our last convention was last year, well, that I went to, we had like 8 people tattooing in our booth and a big setup, and that always is so much on me, just to manage the humans and the emotions of everyone there, and then manage my own emotions and try to keep myself in check. That was always one thing that's always been a lot of difficulty for me at conventions, like trying to keep my emotions in check, after a full day of being pulled in a bunch of different directions and being super hard on myself and, stressing about everything. It's hard to not like explode sometimes. And I would go through that a lot. And it's another reason why I have a very hard time with shows, and I'm glad that I'm not as much doing them now, because it's just there's so much going on there. And then you come home, right, and then you're doing all the things at home, and you still run into those challenges, like I said. So it's interesting how in life I feel like, especially lately, I'm really, really, really discovering that there is more of just a constant cyclical thing of challenges and relational issues and work issues and personal issues and health issues. And it's like the older you get, the more that stuff comes. And I've always been waiting for many years just to get to a point where I didn't have to worry about anything, and I didn't have to deal with anything, and I could just coast. And I think at this point in my life, I'm realizing there's really no such thing as coasting. Like you just kind of have to roll with the punches, make it through the situations, and find the joy in the work. And that's one of the things with conventions that I've struggled with, is having that joy in the hard work, but here we are, at other parts of life, trying to find the joy in the hard work. So it's, yeah, as
I
I've
think a
said
lot of
earlier,
that too is trying to have like the right mindset about it.
yeah,
Because like, for example, for me this weekend, I was going into it, everyone was saying like, yeah, we're all gonna hang out and have a good time. And then next thing I know, we have a booth and it's like, okay, now we've got to be a little bit more on, someone's always got to be around. And then it's like, even then, it's like you could be wandering, working, but it's like you get pulled in one direction and it's like there that could set you off for, the next couple hours. It's like something happened you weren't expecting. And it's
Yeah.
about staying in that right mindset of you're either here to have fun or you're here to work. You got to stay on that.
right. And it's weird because like you can have fun while you're at work, but you can't have too much fun.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
it's like you said, you got to stay on. And being on is one of those things that like I've always wanted to be the guy in the room, right? Until you're the guy in the room, and then you're like, holy cow, I don't know how to do this. Like so many people want to talk, and I smile so much at all these people, and they really don't know I don't want to talk, and I'm scared, and so and I feel like that fear is the biggest underlying thing for me, for sure, because I would always, before going to a convention, like the night before, I would find myself trying to find reasons to not go. And I've said this on this show before, that I always try to find reasons to cancel this show before I get on.
Not today.
Right. And that's the thing, I go through that, and that's one of those things. So I feel like it's kind of an initiation, right? Like I chose to make this commitment to have this show. And it's something that I want, it's something that I've wanted, and it's something that every time it seems to come, I still seem to get daunted by just the act of doing this, which I do all the fucking time. So it's really weird, that I still, I guess it's like kind of the equation to stage fright, right? They say when you stop getting stage fright, you should probably stop acting. So, I guess I'm still following my purpose, and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's weird too, because it's almost like when I'm in hot yoga class, and they say, hey, even if you're doing nothing, you're still here, and that's great. I feel like even if I just show up to one of these shows and bitch about my mental state and how I wish I was in a better spot, like the vulnerability of that will show others, hey, it's cool to be here. And it's one of the things I'm also learning, it's one of my favorite fucking quotes. It's okay not to be okay. It's not okay to stay that way. And that's one of the things that I've over the years have tried so hard to get more in tune with is like, just because you're not feeling okay doesn't mean you're not okay. You know, like life is still gonna come at you the way it does. You just can't pitch a tent and live there. And like right now, I'm having the hardest fucking time concentrating. I don't know if you can hear my background, but I have Donna like doing like fucking Native American chants to just match the babies screaming. So
You know, I mean, I feel like that's a good thing to touch on though too, because it's like you were saying, even if you just come in here and bitch about your mental state, that kind of shows part of the process too. Like it's not always gonna be talking about and getting out feelings. You know, a lot of the times it is just, yeah, shit sucks right now, but I know that that's right now, and
right.
just getting it out is, you know, another step of that process.
And then, you know, even further, like how, you know, Lauren was talking about, you know, that high and that low. I just had 3 different sets of people come through my house. Like last week when I had my friend Erica on the show, she was staying at the house with us and then she left. And then 2 days later, one of my homies came and guested with us. And then at the same time, one of my friends from Indiana came down, him and his wife. So like I've had this constant just like energy exchange of humans in my home and working a lot at the tattoo shop and like, and that's the thing, like like when I was talking to my guest artist Gio, we were driving to work the one day and I was like, man, it's just a lot. And he's like, he asked one question and it was like, wow, okay. He was like, all good though? And I was like, wow, it is all good. Like it's just a lot. And you know, we're so used to being overwhelmed and that being a bad thing that we forgot that like, wow, sometimes I'm like overwhelmed with good. I've got like all these humans that love me, that I love, that are around me at this time. And like, I don't know how to manage the time with all of them. That's actually a good thing, you know, like how many times have me personally just been sad because I didn't have people around me. So it's very interesting how the things you want can turn into overwhelming things. And like this show, daunting to fucking come over here and like sit and speak with friends, you know, like, and but it's like, I worry, well, I don't have a guest. Oh man, should I just cancel because I don't have a guest? What the fuck am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? Am I going to force somebody from Reinventing to sit there and talk to me? You know, like, so it's like this whole thing that, you know, the meanings that we make, and humans are meaning making machines, and we make meanings, and a lot of the time those meanings aren't what we should be making them. You know, we stress and we worry and we put these unhealthy, unrealistic expectations on ourselves, and then just to find out, oh, we're actually doing a good job after all the worry. And that's one of the things, like almost every time I come onto this show, I'm reminded of why I do the things I do. You know, why I do the rad movement, why I continue to speak from the heart and be vulnerable, even though it feels like my efforts are futile in my own little meaning making, you know, monkey mind. I realize, holy shit, if one person sees this and says, wow, that helped me switch my mood, or that gave me a different perspective, you know, imagine how many times one person will see this and one other person and share. And it's like when you continue to do your purpose-driven work, you get further in life and in your heart and on your own journey. But it's like, just because it's purpose-driven doesn't mean it's not difficult or scary, you know? And they say that, you know, when you love what you do, you're never working a day in your life. And that's all fine and good, man. But I don't give a fuck what you say. Just because you love something, it doesn't take the difficulty out of it. You know, it doesn't, you know, and so like, I feel like we're kind of being sold on some bullshit in this world, you know, because, you know, I really like the concept of, you know, the greater the challenge, the greater the reward, or the greater the reward, the greater the challenge, because it's real. It's real as fuck. You know, like you want to buy an Escalade, yeah, you get to drive around in an Escalade, but you also have to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? And that challenge is quite large, you know. So it's just wild to really sit back almost in a state where like I'm outside of myself looking at my life story journey and just being like, huh, you might want to settle down and just accept that nothing's ever going to be perfect. And like the beauty in that in and of itself is brilliant. But to find that through the journey of pain and suffering, it's interesting. One of my friends, she came by the house the other night and she was talking about, if life is too easy, you never go through shit and then you never learn. And I've noticed so many people in my life that, yeah, sure, I've got more struggles at times than they do, but I've also got more growth. And the growth that comes from the struggles is really, it's impressive after the fact. And if you can pull yourself out of it, it's actually impressive at the struggle and the growth together as one, this weird little dance, this communion of this alchemy, where it like turns these things into these other things. So I hope I'm not sounding too weird or getting too tangential. But yeah, any thoughts on these things from you two wonderfuls?
Oh,
I mean, I agree with you saying. So that's kind of the input I have on it.
I can't even see where to begin. It's like you're saying, just roll with the punches. That's easier said than done because the punches really suck.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can just get punched. You actually then get punched and have to face that decision. Do I stay in the ground or do I get up? And that decision is just as hard as the punch itself.
Yeah. And then the decisions that come with the decisions after that, did I make the right decision? Should I have stayed down? Should I have punched back? Should I have gotten up faster? Should I? Yeah, it's wild. The difference is how every part of life has so many outliers and multifacets and tentacles and just extensions of the problem, the solution, the accomplishment, the reward. It's whew.
It's one of those things too, where like after you get punched in the face and you stand up, and then you're like still fighting, but it's like, why did I get up?
Right. And like it feels like that's what being an entrepreneur feels like, right? And you guys have that, because you get these like, I have this idea, it's going to change the world. And then you start doing it and you face all of life's adversities and you're like, my idea sucks, it's never going to work. And then, you get that glimmer of hope again and you're like, oh no, my idea was great, I should do this. And then, this sucks, why am I doing this? I can't do that. And it just, this back and forth, it's like a fucking ping pong match. But when you step back and look at the beauty in that struggle and the dance that is there, and when you can really face those challenges with grace, it's kind of fun. You get in those points where you get low or you get weird or you can't understand how to make the next step, but for some reason that next step just keeps happening and your feet just keep fucking moving. And and especially this analogy for me, because when I was laying there with no leg, hoping to just have a leg one day and to make those steps again, I was like, fuck, I can't wait to make those steps again. And then when I got my leg and it hurt so bad to wear it, I was like, fuck, how am I gonna do this? I don't even want to step, I should just kill myself. And so be careful what you wish for type thing, because yeah, you're gonna get to walk, but you're gonna have to face those challenges. And then all of that comes with it, like I say, the accomplishments as well as the daunting, painful, disgusting, gross feeling challenges. And oddly enough, some of my favorite times in certain parts of my life were the challenging times. I was just sharing stories about how when I was in Indiana, and it was just me and my oldest son living there before I met Donna when I was going through my second divorce. I would sit at the shop at night, and it was a really cool shop. I had the loft all the way at the back of the shop. So I would sit up in my loft and overlook the shop and, blast fucking sad music and be all alone and fucking just sit up there drinking champagne by myself and fucking like crying and contemplating tattooing my dick and like all kinds of stupid things, right? And like the sadness I went through in those times is some of my most fond memories. Probably because of the comedic nature of how I treated my heartbreak. You know, like this sad boy sitting up there fucking drawing things on his penis that he's about to tattoo because he drank too much fucking on-drink champagne. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, and it's just like really interesting that those times stick out as fondness. And it's like during the struggle, they weren't so fond, you know, but like, I guess because that punch in the face when you fucking shake it off and decide to get back up, that's the joy, right? Like, it isn't the shock of the blow, it's the ability to be able to take that blow and to treat it with such a fucking moronic comedic stance. um you know, and then come out of it even better and even brighter and even bolder with even a more brilliant understanding of self and experiences and like coping and thriving rather than coping and things like such. So yeah, um that was just some fun stuff that I've been kind of reminding myself of recently. And it's just interesting how that's like some of my fondest memories in Indiana was my sad times. And like, you know, how many times do we do that? How much do we just really want to be sad? You know, like I feel like there's this level of allowing yourself to be sad because it feels good. And then like, okay, now it's not feeling good anymore. Like I remember and very, very like kind of physical depiction of this was when I was going through one of my surgeries. I told them, I hate how I'm feeling right now. This hurts too much. I don't want to feel anything for a couple days. And so finally a couple days goes by and I'm like, I'm really tired of not feeling anything. Pull me out of this. And so like they had adjusted my medication again to make me actually be a human again. But the pain, the physical pain I went through in that point was so bad. I like told them, make me stupid. And then when being stupid, the pain was too bad, I wanted to feel good again and I wanted to be human again, regardless of what pain I was feeling. And, you know, like they had fucking detached my kneecap and it was just like hanging around being all weird and shit. So like that was, whoa, that was fucking weird. So yeah, I had a hard time. But then when you think about going through the hard times in life and you're like, all right, I don't want to feel this. So you know, exercise or you meditate or you yoga or you fucking get drunk or drugged up and like you're like, oh, I don't want to feel this because so I'm going to get into all these things. And then, you know, at the other side of it, you're like, wow, hold on, I need to recalibrate again. All these things are too much. I just want to feel good again rather than not feel or rather than feel too much. So yeah, once again, these tangents are just keep kind of flowing from me today. So if you guys at any point want to jump in and throw some you know, some perspectives, I'm always down to hear. I always love talking to both of you. So
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, I agree with you on what you're saying about kind of like not wanting to go too far into it and like kind of indulging in it because like I've had some depressive episodes recently, and so it's like I'll be laying there in bed like, yeah, things suck, I hate everything, crying, and then it's like at a certain point, it's like my brain goes, yeah, I don't want to be like this, but the depression goes, yeah, you do, and it's like, well, I could keep sitting here and crying about it, but it's like I don't necessarily want to, and it's not healthy if I do. Like that level of healthiness has already passed. At this point, it's get up, get out of bed, wait for the next wave, or continue to just lay there
yeah,
and sulk in it.
yeah, dude. And like to have the self-awareness to pull yourself out of it is impressive. And it's like a superpower and a skill that we like don't even acknowledge, you know,
Yeah,
as we're going
seriously.
through it.
Because for a while too, it was like I didn't have that ability to be like, no, okay, I can tell the difference now. Like, okay, this it's time to get up. It's like, but once you get that, it kind of changes things.
Absolutely.
That's the matter. we can play that balance between having a healthy amount of negative emotion and not sulking in it and letting it consume you.
Yeah, like that level of checking yourself, like, hey doc, this hurts too bad, knock me out. And it's like, hey doc, I've knocked out too much, bring me back, to be able to go in and out of those things, and in life it's like telling yourself, hey doc, I need to fucking feel this. And it's like, hey doc, I don't want to feel this no more, like taking care of yourself, taking inventory on yourself. One of the things, one of my best friends in the world, he said it to me once and it stuck. He's like, I check myself constantly. And I'm like, ooh, huh, that's weird. So like, now if I'm like off the handle in any way, depressed, angry, fucking, or even super happy, when I'm like super high, there's times I'm like, hey buddy, hold up, this ain't gonna last forever. So like, make sure like we coast off of this healthy, because that's another thing, chasing that happiness, that high, that's just as bad as being in the depressive state and enjoying that high you get from that low,
Yeah, I was chasing that for a while too, just trying to figure out, before I kind of figured stuff out. It was like chasing like why, I think we talked about it before, just asking that question of why, and trying to find your happy place. And it's like, well, really 80% of the time just being okay is good, good enough. If, like a lot of the times I just don't necessarily feel anything, but that's not bad. And having that mindset between why is this not happy, and no, it's okay to not necessarily be happy all the time, just being whatever is that most of the time satisfactory, good enough.
Right, and like finding a peace in who you are, not always constantly trying to change your energy, enjoying who you are. I very much do enjoy just being able to be here sometimes, like not being anxious, not being sad. I don't even need to be happy. Like, just be here, just chill, like appreciate where we're at. When me and Donna first started dating, we were at a friend's house, and the wife, she said, you have to learn to love all sides. And that was like really profound for me, because how often do you love the sides of yourself that aren't as viewed as lovable? Like, you don't love the side of yourself that's just whatever, or maybe you should. And that's one of the things, I preach a lot of love and compassion for self, and it's probably because I need the most of it for myself. And so to sit there and preach this love and compassion all the time, every so often I'll get punched by life and be like, oh fuck, all right, what does being loving and compassionate towards self actually look and feel like? And so, I have to reevaluate that, figure that out again, and find that again. And it's weird how, once again, like sometimes being whatever is cool. Sometimes like getting punched is cool because it like kind of tracks you back to your course. And I kind of, well, I'm going to say it, I hate that feeling when I'm sitting there and I'm trucking through life and I think I'm doing great. And then I'm like, you need to recalibrate, buddy. Things aren't as right as you think they are, and then when you look at it from the reality standpoint, it's not really that bad, but like that ego blow of knowing you need to recalibrate can hurt, it can just like make you feel stupid. And that's one of the things that still I've been talking about since we started this podcast, or show or whatever the hell it is. I have been chasing not taking things personally a lot lately. And that is that's something like I'll say something to myself and take it personally. So, like the battle in that is just crazy. And, like I'll notice when I take something personally that Donna says, and then like she feels that. And then like, what do? Right? Do you like have a healthy communication, be like, sorry, I just took that personally. I'm struggling with this right now. I love you. Thank you for acknowledging that I'm in a place. Or do you just do what I did today and just kind of walk away and just not say anything and be like, fuck, I don't know how to handle this right now. So it's
Here,
really,
Robbie, if you're walking and you get pricked by a beautiful rose bush, are you just gonna walk away with the prick still in your finger?
no, you're gonna remove it.
Yeah.
I like I like how you point out prick too. Because it's really easy when you're acting like a prick to forget to remove the prick. I love that. That was brilliant. Thank you for jumping in and dropping that. What other gems do you have for us today?
Geez, I don't know. I was thinking, I think about a lot of stuff, but I'm trying to listen and think separately,
Yeah.
especially with doing shows like this. I'm trying to take more in because sometimes I get so caught up in thinking about how I can respond that the train's just far away and is a constant, catching up to the conversation.
So what just dropped on my head hard during that is that I've been taking your silence today as a sense of I'm not sharing good enough information. So
Honestly, Robbie, I'm pretty tired. It's been a long day. It's been a long weekend. And yeah, that's about it. Don't take the silence.
right. And so and it's interesting. So we removed the prick, right? Like and it's really interesting how simple these little things and the meaning, the meanings that we fucking give to everything. And I wonder if what would life really look like on the other side of those meanings? If we could remove all these false meanings, what does life really look like? What does it really feel like? I know I've experienced it, so I know the answer to that question. And then that kind of goes back to like, well, what if you just be okay with it? What if you just be okay with the fact that you make up some meanings that aren't exactly the thing, and then just kind of come back to being okay? One time I was in a really weird point in my life. I was dating a girl that it was a short-lived period. And like I'm pretty sure she was married the whole time. So like I said, it was a weird part in my life. I didn't realize at the time, but they were like, wow, no wonder why she wasn't as available. So in the times to be available, I would go spend time with her. She lived a couple states away. And so in one of the times I went to spend time with her, I was staying at her friend's house. Well, her friend wakes me up at 3 in the fucking morning and he's like, look, man, we're fucking partying. You want to stay here? You're fucking partying with me. So I was like, okay, that was very uncomfortable, but I went with it. Sometime throughout the next day, I decide I'm going to drop some acid because this time is just fucking weird. So let's just make it weirder, man. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't even know how the fuck I got here, but this is where we are. And so now I've been awake all night and I'm not really big into drugs. I'm not really big into cocaine. I think it's a terrible drug. I think it's bad for people with high blood pressure, and I have high blood pressure. But I was doing that shit all night with this guy and drinking fucking Coronas. And then, like I said, I was like, fuck it. Like the way to get normalized was to take acid. So hours later, we're standing around the fire and I had this fucking epiphany. And it was that nothing fucking mattered. And like, it wasn't dark or daunting or gross or ugly, but it was actually beautiful and bright and brilliant. And I was like, wait a second, nothing matters. So like the things that I'm worried about don't matter. And the fact that I'm worrying doesn't matter. And the worries themselves don't matter. And like what I do in this life, it matters to a degree, right? But really in the grand scheme of things, nothing fucking matters. And it was like this like freeing feeling in that moment of accepting that like, hey, don't hurt so bad through the struggle because nothing really matters. And that still sticks with me. it comes and goes, right? So it's harder to hold on to sometimes than others. But it's just so interesting to think that nothing really matters. And then we're still chasing around all these fucking things that matter. So it's really weird things that come to you during hallucinogen experiences. But that's like the cool thing of like experiencing that ego death, uh, traveling into different realms of thought, and like just pulling back some experiences and some memories, safekeepings, some notes for the future. Like one time I was on a really crazy DMT trip. And so to clear up, I don't consider hallucinogens drugs. I consider them more medicine. So you'll hear me say, I don't really do drugs, but you'll hear me say, yeah, I do hallucinogens. But I'd come back from this DMT trip and I was like, dude, at one point in time, I had all the answers to every problem in the whole entire world. And then I lost it. Like I didn't remember the solution to all the problems, but like the knowing that I experienced it, I had it in my brain, like I felt it, knowing that I was there made me come out of that in a different way, where I was like, wow, well, at least I know that I had all the answers at one point, so I'll find that again. And like that gives me peace to a degree in a weird way, knowing that like I had that feeling of, yay, I got it, yay, it's all fixed. And then I wonder, are we supposed to live in it's all fixed, yeah, I got it, in perfection? Because if we are, then it's probably going to be boring. So like having that low and being like, man, sometimes life really sucks, but then remembering I had all the answers and life's great. There's nothing to worry about. Interesting places to be all around the board. So yeah, that's where that is. I feel like I'm at a good place right now to call this a done episode.
It's not that I don't enjoy what you're saying at all, Robbie. I'm sorry that that feeling came across. It was really great to talk to you last week too, and just, touch on a few things I didn't even know that I was thinking,
No, absolutely. And I didn't bring that up to make you feel some type of way. So you don't take it personal now, that I was taking some shit personal. And like I said, I've been going through some weird shit. So, just to pop in today was difficult for me. And I feel like talking about the things that I was going through was nice. And I feel like that's another reason why I'm like, no, I'm cool. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm ready to roll. Like the stream of consciousness downloads are done for the day. So
I think we're all a little there.
Yeah, you got the accomplishment accomplished, so that's a check.
Right. And like I hope that one day somebody will listen to this and be like, wow, I've been there before and that sucks. And they pushed through it. And look at that. Nobody died. Hey, I'll make it today too. So yeah. I had the screaming baby and the hollering Donna, I had all these other distractions going on and still managed to be here with you guys. And I feel like hammer out a good conversation. So yeah, I think this kind of goes well with the whole concept of the episode, the contrast of life. Sometimes it's not as bright and fluffy and sparkly as we'd like it to be. And that's okay. It's okay not to be okay. It's not okay to stay that way. So on that note, if you're watching and this brought you any joy, peace, harmony, or goodness, let us know. If you're looking for more stuff like this from me, the Rad Movement on YouTube is where you find it. If you want to go much deeper into your life and join a coaching program that I'm putting together called the Rad Academy, powered by the Magical Motherfucker Method, to find out how to become the most magical motherfucking version of yourself, shoot me a DM. I have 15 spots left there. The next 5 that sign up receive a $2,000 discount. So if you're serious about up-leveling your life and want to do some difficult but fun and scary and awesome shit in a group of 20 people, that will help you grow and progress, hit me up. And then also Reinventing the Tattoo. These guys are great. I want to thank you guys for bringing me in, allowing me to do my things, allowing me to rant, ramble, cry, laugh, and go through the motions and the experiences of life. And thank you guys for showing up. I always appreciate you. And everyone watching, thank you for showing up. I appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all. Everyone, have a wonderful fucking day.
Until next week.
Much love, guys. Thank you.
Right?
Peace.